Hi, my name is Alex Reynolds, a 34-year-old man working in the security department at a high-profile firm where secrets are currency. My life is good. A high-flying job, my own house, a good circle of friends, a happening social life, and a lovely dog, Bruno. Well, except for a girl in my life, everything is kinda sorted. Hold on, that's what I think. But you know, if nothing is wrong in life, it could be a little boring, right? But lucky me, my life is anything but boring. You could say my job is to keep those secrets safe. Everything was going fine until one day. As usual, I was at my office, a steaming cup of black coffee in hand as I made my way to the office. Just as I entered, my office phone rang, and I answered. Hello. Surprisingly, it was Daniel, my boss. On the other side, he usually called me directly from his office, and rarely used the office phone. Mr. Reynolds, come to my office now. On the way, Daniel. As I stepped out of my cabin, the atmosphere felt charged with an unusual tension. The entire office seemed to be giving me odd vibes, and no one was making eye contact. A chill ran down my spine, a signal that something was off. Lucas approaches me. Are you feeling the same as I did? Kinda. Where are you going? Daniel called me to his office. He raised his eyebrows. Why? I didn't see it. He called me on the office phone. Why? Did it sound odd? Exactly. I gotta go. Hold my coffee. Lucas drinks the coffee as I head towards Daniel's office. The taste of strong black coffee lingering on his lips. The unease in the air follows me like a shadow. I reach Daniel's office, take a deep breath, and knock on the door. Come in, Reynolds. As I entered his office, the air seemed thick with tension, and the whole atmosphere took a dramatic turn. Daniel, usually trying to maintain a cool boss demeanor, looked dead serious. My instincts kicked in, telling me that whatever he was going to say wasn't going to be good. I approached him, cutting straight to the chase. You call me Mr. Thompson? Alex, we need to talk. He paused, creating suspense that hung in the air like a heavy cloud. My mind raced with possibilities, but before I could form any conclusions, he dropped the bomb. Alex, yesterday, what did you do? What I usually do on weekends, Mr. Thompson. Why are you asking? You rob people on your weekends, Alex? Huh? I did what? Anyways, Alex, you will be arrested tomorrow for it. Hold on a minute. Let's rewind what happened yesterday. So, yesterday while the sun was just waking up, I tied my running shoes and hit the road at 5 a.m. I was always an early riser, part of my routine to kickstart the day with energy. Later in the afternoon, I decided to catch up with my buddies. Instead of hitting the gym, we opted for a game of baseball at the local court. The sun was shining, the atmosphere was light, and our friendly banter echoed across the field. Bruno, my loyal companion, happily bounded alongside, adding an extra layer of joy to the game. There's something about the crack of the bat hitting the ball that's therapeutic, a perfect way to unwind. As the afternoon sun began its descent, we were wrapping up the game. I said my goodbyes to the guys after an energetic game of baseball at the local court with my buddies. Me and Luca decided to grab some late lunch at a new restaurant on the other side of town. Bruno, my loyal dog, wagged his tail in approval as we set off. As we strolled through the neighborhood, Lucas and I, practically brothers since school, exchanged banter and laughed about the game. We lived so close that our parents joked about not officially adopting each other. After a 30-minute ride, which felt more like 50 with Lucas navigating, we finally reached the newly opened restaurant, all for the sake of trying out some supposedly heavenly sushi. I told you, wasn't that heavenly? Yes, Lucas, heavenly like we could eat the same sushi right beside our neighborhood, but we come all the way here to eat that heavenly sushi. As we bantered about our questionable decision, we noticed the sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the surroundings. It was time to find parking and dive into our sushi adventure. As we headed to the parking lot in front of the restaurant, my eyes caught sight of a woman, flanked by two hulking figures in masks. Lucas nudged me, and the unspoken tension filled the air. Alex, look. No, I know what you're thinking, but no. Any sensible man would call the police. I pulled out my phone intending to dial for help. However, the situation escalated quickly. The two men forcefully grabbed the woman, brandishing a gun in one hand, the threat hanging heavy in the air. No way. Without a second thought, my instinct kicked in. Before you label me as reckless, let me assure you, I was trained for situations like these. I approached them, urging Lucas to call the police. You know, you shouldn't do that. Hey, didn't you see that? He pointed at his gun, and I responded with a swift punch to the face. He crumpled to the ground and I deftly pushed the gun away. The second man abandoned the woman and tried to restrain me from behind. Drawing on my judo skills, I executed a flawless throw, sending him crashing to the ground. I glanced at the woman. "Do you have a rope?" Silly me. "No, but I have a scarf." She pulled out a scarf from her purse and I used it to tie one man's hands. Lucas, ever resourceful, fetched tape from the car to secure the other. Around 15 minutes later, Lucas made the call, the police arrived, and the woman explained the whole incident. Lucas and I, still processing the adrenaline rush, gave our statements. The police carefully examined the evidence at the scene, and after a couple of hours, they swiftly apprehended the robbers. The officers seemed satisfied with the statements and the evidence gathered on the spot. To our relief, they didn't insist on us heading to the station immediately. Instead, they mentioned the possibility of calling us later for additional statements or to provide updates on the case. So we were then headed to my car, feeling the weight of the day slowly lifting. Just as we were about to leave, that woman called out to me. "Excuse me." "Yes?" "I couldn't even thank you. Thank you so much." "It's okay." The woman looked into my eyes for a moment and a genuine smile crossed her face. "Take care then." As we drove back home, the image of that woman lingered in my mind. "Lucas, did you see that woman? It felt like she wanted to say something more." "Maybe she wanted to ask for your number." Very funny. You see me laughing? I think I saw her somewhere before. I don't remember where. As we continued our journey back home, I couldn't shake off the events of that day. The adrenaline rush from the unexpected encounter with the robbers still pulsed through my veins. Lucas, always the one to lighten the mood, kept cracking jokes about the incident. Man, who knew our quest for sushi would turn into an action movie? Yeah, only you could turn a peaceful lunch into a thrilling adventure. Despite the banner, I couldn't help but replay the woman's grateful smile in my mind. Who was she? And why did that brief interaction linger in my thoughts? As we drove into our neighborhood, the night had already settled in, casting a dim glow over the houses. Well, that was an eventful day. I'm heading home. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see ya. As I entered my house, fatigue settled in. I headed for a refreshing shower. The warm water eased the tension, but the day's unexpected turn lingered in my mind. After the shower, I made my way to my cozy bed, accompanied by Bruno, who found his spot. Thoughts of the day's events danced in my head as I lay there, trying to make sense of the chaos. Now back to the present, I had no idea if he was joking or serious. "Alex, are you here?" I kept my composure and asked, "If this isn't a joke, will you tell me what you mean by it?" "Last night, our important client data got leaked." "What?" "And it was leaked from your ID." He showed me on his computer. It was indeed my ID. I wasn't prepared for that. My head started to buzz, and my hands got colder hearing that. "Daniel, I didn't do it." "Are you saying this isn't your ID?" "This is my ID, but I didn't even log in yesterday. See, here, this time I wasn't in the office. And I had no access outside of the office. Someone must have hacked my ID." "Reynolds, are you saying someone hacked only your ID to steal our VIP data?" "Did you check the CCTV?" "Yes, and it might work in your favor because it records nothing." "No, Daniel, but I am innocent. Give me time to prove myself. I promise you, I will catch the real culprit behind that." "Do what you can. I reported you already. Be prepared for the integrity investigation inquiry in the evening. I had to go to this meeting to answer the management. The police will soon investigate, and you will be arrested tomorrow." The weight of Daniel's accusation hit me like a ton of bricks. He left the office, and after him, I stepped out of the office, and there was Lucas waiting for me. What the hell was that? Exactly. Were you eavesdropping? Lucas gestured toward my office. He was always quick on his feet and suggested checking the CCTV footage. "Let's check the CCTV first." I agreed, knowing that it could be our best shot at proving my innocence. "Let's start from there. Luca?" He positioned himself near the window of my office and spotted something intriguing. "Alex, look. Isn't that the woman who you saved yesterday?" I followed his gaze, confirming that she was indeed approaching our building. "What are you doing?" "So what? Let's go. Get to our business." We hurried to the security department to review the CCTV footage. The security guy awaited our arrival. "The CCTV footage of your office stopped working at that time." I requested a glimpse of the outside footage, hoping for a breakthrough. Show me the outside footage. Security guy hesitated before revealing an unsettling truth. Actually, I don't like the sound of it. The security guy disclosed a disconcerting revelation. All the CCTV cameras stopped working at that time. We left the security department, digesting the implications of a sabotage surveillance system. It proves that someone hacked the system. Lucas pointed to our usual spot, a nearby cafe that had become a refuge for our private conversations. Let's go to our spot. We need to find someone who can help you. In the cafe, the familiar aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloped us as we took our usual spot. The atmosphere was pleasantly serene, with a clear view from both sides, and the place wasn't too crowded. Lucas positioned himself facing the window, while I settled on the opposite side, soaking in the comforting ambiance of our chosen corner. I know a guy. Tell me about him. While we discussed how to contact that guy, Lucas kept glancing outside, making me impatient. What's wrong with you? He whispered. Alex, look over here. I'm in the middle of a crisis, and you're checking out girls? Seriously? I looked in the direction he pointed, and once again, it was that lady. Wasn't she near our building? Alex, I think she's coming here. Now, I also sensed she might be approaching us, but I didn't want to assume, so I refocused on finding information about that guy. I found his number. Do you think? Lucas looked outside and said, she saw us. She's smiling. I remember. She was crossing the road. What? Isn't she Daniel's wife? Our boss? Yes. What was her name? Oh, yes, Emily. That's Emily Thompson. We've seen her at a few events before. Don't you remember? Now that you say that, I remember seeing her, but we've never met before. She entered the cafe and approached our table. Hello, gentlemen. She smiles politely. Lucas and I exchange glances and then rise from our seats. If I'm not wrong, are you Mrs. Thompson? Yes, I am Emily Thompson. What a pleasure it is to have you here, Mrs. Thompson. Oh, please, call me Emily. Certainly. What can we do for you? First of all, I want to thank you for yesterday. Also, I'm here to talk to Mr. Alex Reynolds. She looked between me and Lucas. I extend my hand and say, I'm Alex Reynolds, and my colleague and friend, Mr. Lucas Miller. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm here to talk to you, Mr. Reynolds. Please, call me Alex. As we take our seats, Emily orders her coffee. Lucas and I sense that something significant is about to unfold. Emily takes a sip and then drops a bombshell. Yesterday, I thought you looked familiar, Alex. I believe I saw you in some pictures from Daniel's office. Ah, I'm here to tell you about those masked men who wanted to rob me yesterday. You found any information on them? You wouldn't believe it, but my husband sent them. Lucas and I exchanged looks, both surprised and intrigued by Emily's composure. She calmly takes another sip of her coffee. Uncertain of how to react, I hesitantly ask, Emily, are you sure about it? How do you know about it? I overheard him talking to the boss of those robbers. He thinks I sleep soundly. Did he talk in front of you? Oh no, he isn't that reckless. He talks in our study. I overhear him at night. Can I ask you one question if you don't mind? You wanted to ask why I am telling you all this. Yes. Today, he must have accused you of stealing client data, didn't he? Me and Lucas were caught off guard. You know about it? I had a feeling that you know more than you're telling us, but I would appreciate it if you could help my friend. Me and Lucas looked at Emily with hope. I don't know where to start. It's a long story. We are listening. You can tell us from the beginning. I only have a day to prove myself innocent. After that, I could be arrested, and much worse, I can lose my job. My husband planned everything to escape from his own wrongdoing. He stole the company's important client data and sold it to someone. He plans to run away with the money and his girlfriend. The revelation hit us like a ton of bricks. Emily continued her story. A week ago, I found out his plan of stealing and running away to a foreign country with that girl. Yesterday, at the police station, he showed up without me calling him. I was shocked to see him there. I know how fake he was. It breaks me every day to see that man with a smile on his face, shamelessly. He wanted to save his image as a loyal husband. He thinks I would never know. Last night, when I pretended to sleep, he was talking to someone in our study. I think it would be that girl. but he was talking to some man. I overheard their conversation and found out that he sent those robbers after me. He doesn't even care if I would get hurt. So I have decided to show his true face to the world." Me and Lucas were deeply shocked, exchanging surprised glances as we absorbed the weight of Emily's revelation. She calmly awaited our reactions. "I'm sorry to hear this happen to you, but you are brave. Emily, do you have any proof that could help? I have copied his work-related documents to my pen drive, and also taken screenshots of his conversations with the other party from his laptop." "Wow. Emily, you mentioned his girlfriend works in our firm. Do you know anything about her?" "Her name is Natalia." "Natalia Romson? Who joined a few years ago?" "Yes, that one." The next hour, we sat at the laptop, going through the evidence that Emily provided us. It was enough for me to prove Daniel accountable. However, for Natalia, I needed to hire a cybersecurity expert to figure out how exactly they stole the data. I suggested to Emily that she report Daniel first, because his attention is all on me. He couldn't have guessed that Emily would be reporting him. She agreed with my suggestion and went to report him to the police station. Meanwhile, Lucas and I contacted the cybersecurity expert. I hired him and he started working on it. As we started digging into the evidence, things got even crazier. Turns out, Natalia wasn't just acting on a whim. She went all out and manipulated the CCTV footage to make it look like a recent leak, covering up the fact that Daniel had been stealing data for a while. And get this, Daniel, who had the keys but not the password, went full hacker mode and hired someone to crack the security. So there we were, peeling back layers of this crazy conspiracy. It wasn't just some impromptu plan. It was a well-thought-out scheme involving multiple players and a high-tech strategy to hide their tracks. Our cyber expert was like a digital detective, navigating through this maze of deceit, revealing the intricate details of their plot. Each piece of evidence was like a puzzle, bringing us closer to exposing the truth behind this whole orchestrated drama that could have cost me my job and the firm's reputation. While immersed in the cyber investigation with our expert, a call from my PA, Gene, interrupted my focus. "Alex, Daniel has arrived in his office. He's asking for you and mentioned an inquiry at 6 today. I told him you're in the office." "All right, I'll be there in a few minutes." "You go ahead. I'll bring the evidence. And don't panic. I'm also calling Emily to come as a witness. We've got him." "Okay." As I rushed back to the office, Daniel was already waiting for me in front of my cabin. Fortunately, our office had a closed design, shielding our interactions from prying eyes. Gene spotted me first and discreetly warned me about Daniel's presence. "Where is Reynolds?" "He should be here soon, sir." "He was in a meeting." "Meeting? At a time like this?" "He'll be here shortly." "You said he was in the office." "My bad, I thought he was in his office, but he was already gone to the next meeting." I cautiously made my way to my office, trying to avoid Daniel's line of sight. As I slipped into my cabin, I motioned for Gene to stall him a bit longer. "Would you like some coffee while you wait?" "No, I don't want coffee. I want answers." While Gene engaged Daniel in small talk, I texted Lucas to hurry with the evidence. I came out of the office to face him, and I am here to answer that. "Your PA said you were in the meeting, but you came from your office." "I was in the meeting and just came in." "But I didn't see you coming." "I think we're getting late for the inquiry." "We are, let's go." Entering the meeting room, I found the inquiry panel, comprised of company investigators, sat across from me. The atmosphere was tense, but I maintained my composure. "Mr. Reynolds, thank you for joining us. We are here to discuss the serious allegations against you." The inquiry had already started, and I found myself in the hot seat. The questions were relentless, and the pressure intensified. Amid this tense situation, Lucas sent me a text. His words brought a glimmer of hope. "Cyber Guy found the IP address used in the robbery. It wasn't your office computer." A surge of relief washed over me. The evidence was mounting in our favor, and Emily's arrival would undoubtedly turn the tide. The suspense heightened as I navigated the inquiry, anxiously awaiting the crucial moment when the truth would come to light. "Mr. Reynolds, please state your side of the story." "Thank you for providing me with this opportunity to address the allegations against me. To clarify, I had no involvement in the breach of security or any unauthorized access to confidential information." As I continued, I presented a detailed account of my activities during the time in question. emphasizing my participation in the scheduled meetings and providing alibis for my whereabouts. The inquiry panel listened attentively, occasionally interjecting with probing questions. Mr. Reynolds, the severity of the accusations cannot be understated. We are taking this matter very seriously. I completely understand the gravity of the situation, and I am committed to assisting in any way to prove my innocence. As the inquiry progressed, I couldn't help but wonder about Emily's delayed arrival. Lucas had assured me that the evidence was strong, but having her as a witness could potentially tip the scales definitively in my favor. Just as the tension in the room reached its peak, Emily entered, accompanied by Lucas. Her presence injected an air of anticipation, and Daniel's expression shifted from confidence to concern. This is an inquiry meeting. If you do not have any input to give in this meeting, please stay outside. I am here to testify in this case. I was stunned by her boldness. Honey, what are you doing here? Is that your wife, Mr. Thompson? Daniel gets agitated, and he runs towards Emily. Yes, honey, what happened? She stopped him by gesturing her hand. First, I need to testify. Mrs. Thompson, please take a seat. We appreciate your willingness to participate. Thank you for having me. I believe my testimony will shed light on the truth. Emily proceeded to reveal that the mastermind behind the data leak was her husband, Daniel. She presented compelling evidence to support her claim. The inquiry panel meticulously examined the evidence presented by Lucas, including the cyber expert's findings regarding the IP address. It seems we have a significant development here. The investigation now points to Mr. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson's testimony and evidence are compelling. We will need some time to reevaluate the situation and thoroughly examine the evidence presented today. You will be informed of our decision shortly. As the panel deliberated, the room filled with an anxious silence. The suspense was palpable, and the outcome of this internal investigation would undoubtedly shape the trajectory of my professional future. All the evidence was submitted, and we came out of the room. Daniel was furious, realizing that he was now accountable for his wrongdoing. He eagerly went to Emily, but before he could say anything, she slapped him hard. Officers, that's my husband. Arrest him. Mr. Thompson, you're under arrest for conspiring to harm your wife. The click of handcuffs punctuated the gravity of the situation. Daniel's face, a canvas of anger and disbelief, captured the realization that his misdeeds were catching up with them. As the investigation unfolded, Natalia's complicity in the conspiracy came to light, leading to her arrest. Mr. Thompson not only lost his job, but also faced the consequences of a divorce, with his actions irreparably damaging his personal and professional life. In the end, I came out of it all unharmed and proven innocent. As I stepped out of that intense meeting, I couldn't wait to share the absurdity of it all with Lucas and give Bruno a well-deserved treat.